the day out by reading something from my good book. Let's see, where do we land? Realization. Happiness always looks small while you hold it in your hand, but let it go and you'll learn at once how big and precious it is. So for many of us right now, we are in the middle of what's probably one of the craziest times in our career. And I want you to realize really where you are today and just take a moment to become present to that. You guys are literally the intermediary in the biggest decision people have ever made in their lives. And with the pandemic, it literally is, right? Moving right now is a very serious thing that involves transition, health, safety, and people are also making very emotional decisions. And it's our jobs to be the conduit to make sure that they make the right decisions. So hold on to that happiness and realize the joy that you bring into people's lives, because our mind always wants us to focus on the half empty part of everything, right? Like we look at the challenge, we look at the trouble, we look at the bump, we look at what doesn't go well. But think about this. I always joke around and say, hey, I have a great idea. Let's all think negative and hope a bunch of positive things happen. So as we start continuing our theme of March Madness and lead generation, I want you to realize that you're in the perfect place right now and you're just too good to stay here. There's more for you guys, right? And we want to focus on habits. And we also want to make sure that I just want to take a moment and make sure that everyone just focuses on themselves, right? Take 30 minutes a morning. Ideally, I would like to say longer. If you're my coaching client, you better be doing it longer. However, 30 minutes a day for yourself, because once your workday starts, your day is for everybody else but you, right? And if you're a parent, then your day really isn't for everybody, is for everybody else, right? Because you'll go to work, you'll do things for your clients all day, and then you'll go home and you'll do things for your family all day. And at the end of the day, you might go to sleep, you might get a little bit of time for yourself, and this is what leads to the burnout. So burnout is a real concern that I have for everyone in the market today. So just make sure that at minimum, you're taking 30 minutes in the morning for yourself. Do not turn on your phone. Do not go look at your email. Don't go getting lost in Instagram, because again, that has nothing to do with you. Do something every day that makes you smile. Do something every day that fulfills you. So that is my regularly scheduled message about taking care of yourself and feeling good. And now back to the business aspect of our day and March Madness. Just give me 1 second and I'll cue. So today we are going to be doing a lot of role plays. So I need 5 people to put their name in the box right now while I pull this up, and you guys will be the 5 lucky volunteers. And then we're going to have a contest that we're starting today, and we're going to give away some prizes.
Anybody want to volunteer?
Sarah.
Diane. I see Diane. Peter. Marilda. I need 2 more people.
Somebody mute yourself. All right, guys, look, March Madness is an entire month of lead generation. So for all of you today, we're going to have everyone, as we said in our newsletter, like the, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? How many conversations does it take to get to a new client and a sale? So number one, we want you to start tracking your numbers. We'll be emailing everyone at the end of the day, a follow-up and a contest, right? So whoever wins the contest, I will be doing at the end of the month a 45-minute in-depth business building session with them. We could talk about anything that you want to talk about. And so we want to make sure that you guys get into the habits of tracking your numbers, right? So number one things, what do you want to track? How many calls do you make, right? How many conversations do you have? How many appointments did you make? How many appointments did you go on? How many listings taken? And ultimately, how many sales? Those are the 6 metrics. For a bonus, we're also going to start doing stuff is, look, take your favorite picture of this, take your favorite quote, tag us in your social media, and we'll be pulling prizes out of that as well. So look, guys, right now, everyone is so focused on all the business in front of them, but the majority of agents are checking out on generating new leads. So we want to make sure that we all continue to have purposeful conversations, right? So that's why we want to make sure March was dedicated to lead generation, because while everyone has their eye off the ball, we want to make sure that we stay or keep our eyes on the prize. So does anyone know how many conversations it takes for them to get an appointment? Anybody? One. What does it say, Rachel? I see one person answered.
3. And then Heidi said it depends. 9.
So what?
7, 12.
Well, I'm happy with all the people that are tracking it. Like I know on Ethan's team for his online leads that his team members do, for every 50 conversations they have 1 sale. And these are all like street easy leads, right? So obviously with your sphere and other people track it because it becomes a numbers game. So if it's 12 conversations to an appointment, how many appointments you need for a sale, right? Because then we could figure out how many dials we have to make each day to hit the numbers that we want. So we're going to go through 5 different scenarios and 5 different role plays. And this way, you guys will have the confidence to be able to reach out in a manner that's authentic to you, but that the scenarios and the conversations are thought out. Scenario number 1, contact a client who moved within the last 12 to 24 months. Now, these are people that are going to be potentially newer to a community. They've lived there for a year, 2 years, and odds are they have friends that are either in a similar situation to them, or they've met maybe newer neighbors or people in the area that might be looking to move. So Sarah, I have not met you before, so I'll call on you first as I see like your little green hand here. So where are you from? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I live in Woodmere, New York. I'm part of the VI Properties team. I'm fairly new.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Your broker's the best.
I love her.
As do I. So here's our role play, right? When we're talking to people about finding inventory, it's a lot more likely that they will resonate with an experience that they could relate something to on their own versus saying, hey, do you know somebody, right? So
Right.
you can be a client that I just sold a home to. Say you've lived in your house a little more than a year, and now I'm looking for new inventory and I reach out to. Okay, so you could be the homeowner and I'll be the client. I'll be the realtor. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, so hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Great.
So I just want to check in. How's your family doing?
They're really good, lots of Zoom school, lots of people, in the house all the time.
Got it. Now, I imagine, that you're spending more time in your home than you ever thought. What's your favorite place now that you've been there for about a year or more?
My office.
Your office. Tell me more
Yeah.
about that.
I made a space so that I could do my work from home. And I just wanted it to be a serene place that I can just kind of concentrate on everything that I need to do.
Got it. You'll have to send me a picture. Did you do that in that basement area where you were not sure if you wanted to make the space for the kids or the space for yourself?
Am I supposed to be honest, or is this like really I'm acting right now?
You could say anything you want.
I made it. Yes, I made it in my basement. It was unfinished. So I hired a, local contractor that I was referred, somebody referred, and we made it a nice space that I could work from.
That's amazing. And what have your kids been enjoying the most over the last year?
Fortnite.
I'm sure that's great because it gives you a break.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if I really need help with something. I'm wondering if you could actually help me out.
Sure. What can I help you with?
Remember when we were looking for a house for you and your family, how important it was to find the right home within that time frame right before your kids started school?
Yes.
I have five. You're welcome. I have 5 other families that are in the same exact situation, and I can't find them a home on the market or off the market. Do you know anyone that's possibly looking to move to take advantage of the 15% that homes are up in the area?
Oh, I actually think I know of somebody. I could shoot you their number.
Yeah, if you could shoot me their number or connect us in a group text. I know that you very intimately remember how tight the timelines are and how much stress that could cause. And I'm hoping I could create a miracle for somebody else.
I would love to help. I will send you their number. I know that they're looking to move out of state, so I will connect you.
That's perfect. And look, is there anything else that I could do to help you guys with the community and what you guys have been doing lately?
No, thank you so much. You did such a great job on finding us our dream home. I really
Got
appreciate
it.
all the help.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
So guys, did you see how we related it back to the actual people? Oops. I just want to move the people up. There we go. So I'll unmute if you want to ask this, anyone wants to ask a question, Sarah, you can ask the questions first as we did this together. Do you see how it's a little different when we start asking people about themselves, their scenario, what it was like when they moved versus just saying, hey, do you know somebody?
Yeah, you were really personable. So you made it more about them than than about you looking for, like a lead.
Exactly. So look, people remember, for the people who were here when I showed the Matrix movie, right? Like the jump from that jump scene, people relate to things when it's more relatable to them, right? So any person that's bought a home in the last 2 years, or let alone any time, the timing was important. There was stress involved. So when you say remember when, and then you create the scenario and you pause for a second, it gives the person time to register that in their brain. Don't go and say, hey, Sarah, remember when you moved and it was stressed out and everything like that? And then I have 5 other people like that. Don't do that, right? Kind of pause, right? Let them register and then let that thought check in. Let them respond to you and then engage in the conversation, right? That practicing the pause is something really important we all need to do, right? Because it tends to just turn into a run-on sentence. And as we talked about in our last role play session is, look, a lot of these things are like chapters in a book, or concept 1, concept 2, concept 3. It's a story you're telling, right? And like as somebody's brain progresses from one thought to another, you need to make sure that there are transitions, anchoring statements that buy them in and kind of hook them into where the conversation is. So as simple as this conversation is, there's psychology that goes into it. So the more you have it, the more comfortable you're going to be. But really simple, ask someone about, follow the Ford model, right? My favorite thing for people that live there, if I'm making the calls, are, hey, now that you've spent more time in this home than you've ever imagined, what's your favorite thing here that you didn't think about? It's a very easy conversation starter, right? And if it's someone that's been a longer client, well, that could open up a whole nother thing. So do you have any questions, Sarah?
No, I'm good. That was actually very helpful. Thank you so much for having me be part of that.
Yeah, well, thank you for raising your hand. So we can count on everyone making 5 of these calls a day, yes?
Yes.
So if I want an objection, I should just use Diane as my role play partner. 6:30 on the West Coast. Okay, so let's contact someone in my sphere. Diane, you're up. You be my dancing partner next.
Okay.
All right, guys, so I'll give you guys context. This could be somebody in your sphere, somebody that has lived in a home for 5 or more years. And remember, if you haven't done this yet, please make sure to reach out to all the orphan clients, the ones you'd never call in any other circumstance because it's been so long since you spoke to them. And if you need just like a memory jogger, an idea to reach out for them, you could say, hey, one of the things I made a commitment to myself in 2021 was doing a better job of reaching out to everyone who's important to me. So I just wanted to reach out and ask you how you're doing, what's been new, how's the last year been? And that's an entryway to get these people active and back into your database, right? So Diane, ring, ring. Diane?
Hey, Chirag, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Well, I've been trapped for a year.
Right. How's the cat doing? Is it going to keeping you company?
I'm sorry, the cat?
Yeah,
Yes,
the cat. I always see the cat in the
wants COVID to go on for the rest of their lives.
So you feel trapped and the cat's enjoying the intimacy of the moment.
Right.
What else is new? How's work?
Work's good. Somewhat disconnected, which is a struggle. I mean, I'm kind of zoomed out.
It's interesting. I remember when you were moving, how important it was for you to be close to the office because you didn't like commuting. And now you kind of feel zoomed out. Are you looking forward to going back in person, or do you want to do a little bit of both?
I probably prefer to be in person, basically. I think that it's more intimate. I think it's more entertaining, more humorous. You find out more information off the cuff. It's too restricted when you're contacting people, as I did this morning, contacting some of my networking group, saying, would you like to Zoom for 20 minutes and chat? Versus, you might not get as much response. If you're sitting in the office and you stop over for 5 minutes to chat with somebody, it's more receptive.
What I hear you saying is you just miss a good old fashioned human conversation.
Right. And also that it's a little more off the cuff, quick, that I think people, are so consumed by phone calls and Zoom calls that I'll be interested to see when I did this morning to about 8 people, how many people respond and say, hey, yeah, I've got an extra 20 minutes, because I just think we're overwhelmed with that. And I think more intimacy and more of a light type of interaction with people is going to give you more insight to possibilities.
That's interesting. As I hear you saying that, what comes to mind is I wonder how many people are going to become slightly awkward when they actually have to go back to an office and interact with people because it's been a while.
Well, I think there's a certain percentage that are happy not to do it and are very happy working from home and prefer to do that. I think in sales, I don't think that's something that's going to ever be a large percentage. I don't think it'll even be over half unless it's more on in-person interaction.
No, I agree with you. And can I share something interesting with you? And possibly I could really use your help.
All ears.
Oh, thank you. What's interesting is that there are a lot of people, because of the nature of COVID and everything else, that can't find a home. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but homes in the area that you live in are up about 15%. I'm looking for a miracle for these people because I can't find a house on the market or off the market. And I was wondering, Diane, if you know anyone who's been looking to take advantage of the additional 15% equity that they have in their home, living in the same area as you do.
I have one of my neighbors that, continuously is in shock at what's been selling, and they're in an age, they probably need to transition. So I think it could be a good exploratory for them to get information from you in regards to what would their option be at what price they sold their house at. So I can forward their email to you. I'll do an introduction for you so they trust you, and then you can take it from there.
That's very thoughtful, so I don't come across as some anonymous stranger from the internet. That's very kind of you. So yeah, just please, I remember it's been a while since we sold you your home, but I'm sure you can appreciate what it's like, the stress, the timing, and everything else related to it, and what it's like having small children and not having a place to go.
Yes, and I think that your ability to think more for your client versus for yourself, and your concerns to foresee what could happen in that transition was so valuable. And I never had to get upset or mad at you. And even if I was a little stressed, you responded. You called me immediately to ask me how I was doing, what's going on with you right now. And that intimacy between the two of us made a whole difference with moving.
Oh, thank you. Listen, I really appreciate that. And my tagline is, as soon as you tell me your problems, now they're my problems, and it becomes my job to solve them. So if you hear anyone, whether it's your local area or other areas that may be looking to move out of state or wondering how much extra money's in their home, please just keep me in mind as I literally have a handful of people that I've absorbed their stress every day. And I just want to make sure that they find a home and they're comfortable too.
Well, I'd love to do that, Shrek. And, I don't want to forget. So, at least a couple times a month, shoot me an email saying hello, just checking in.
Well, hey, once I get my vaccine, you're first on my coffee date list. So we'll have to have a good old fashioned human conversation then.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're cute too. So that makes a big difference.
Oh, you're going to make me blush. So you could always count on Diane for either an objection or something out there, slightly inappropriate. So
Oh, thank you. Come on.
I'm just joking. There's no PC here. So guys, look, you noticed though, there was that point where it was very social. And then she said something about work and we had to make that transition. Like, hey, there's something really interesting when you speak of work. And do you guys see that was a very natural conversation, right? And by the way, I've noticed this out of the two conversations. If you did a good job for the people, they're going to compliment you. So if you need to pick me up from this market, start calling people that you know that you did a good job for. Follow this script, I would say, or just questions of asking people. And look, remember, it's a good contact and a good conversation to have. So thank you. Do you have any questions, Diane, about doing this?
No, and you're correct in regards to talking to people that are really happy with you, because probably you're always struggling with a certain amount of people, different personalities. And I call it being on the ledge. So when you're on the ledge getting ready to jump because somebody's really not being pleasant, then the phone rings and it's somebody that you adore, that adored you. And that makes a huge difference. And you've got to spend time with those people, because if you don't, you might as well just get out of business at some point.
Thank you. Spot on. So thank you for joining us. Contact your lender. I'm going to go through this one. Listen, your lenders have all kinds of data and information on people they've done loans through years. I always call this, the lenders are the king of the one-sided relationships. They want to be monogamous. They want you to be monogamous to them, but they have no loyalty to you for anything besides maybe picking up the phone on the weekends and a holiday card if you're lucky, or a meal throughout the year, or a cheap bottle of wine. If your lender does differently, that's great. But I want everyone to contact their lender and say, hey, I'd like to help go through the things and see if you could help me find some people that are potentially looking to move. They'll know people that have high interest rates, that they sold houses maybe 5-10 years ago, certain areas. They can pull all these demographics from their system. So make a note and contact your lender. Because in my conversations, I'm asking brokers every single day around the country, hey, have you reached out to your lender to ask them if they could help you? Well, lenders generally don't help realtors as much, so they don't think about this. So make sure you reach out to your lenders that you guys send lots of business to and have them partner with you, have them make introductions, right? Make sure to find the areas and know the market data. If you're going in a specific neighborhood, say, hey, are you aware that homes are up 15%? Would you like to know how much equity you have in your home? This is a good way to start the conversation. Fourth, we've talked about absentee owners, right? You can buy the lists online depending on the area. There are different companies that have different data. Now, when you're reaching out to these people, the line that you're going to do is, would you consider selling your home for above market value? Would you consider selling your home for above market value? Right? That's a very appealing line. I don't know if Therese is on the call, but Therese actually took that, and I'm on her email list. And the email said, would you consider selling your home for above market value? That is something that's going to make pretty much anyone that owns a home that's ever thought about moving stop and think, right? I've had people tell me that they're Airbnb-ing their house and all kinds of other things because the prices are higher than people could humanly imagine. And the last one tax exemptions. So in like Westchester, so Betsy, I hope you're on here. In Westchester, there's a thing called the Senior Star Exemption. So these are people that are over a certain age that get an enhanced tax reduction, right? So if you're pulling people in certain areas, like I grew up in Larchmont, and in some of these areas, the property taxes are really high. It could be $50,000, $60,000 for a home that's a couple $1,000,000. Some of these people might be looking to downsize their home because A, they have a lot of equity in it. B, they have very excessive taxes for kids that are not in the school system and stuff like that. This takes some additional legwork, but this is another way to identify properties that people aren't going after. So if you have a title company, start looking at homes that have high taxes and people living in them above 60 years old. They might want to downsize their house. They're probably not going to be as picky as where they want to go. They might be willing to move out of state. You don't know. COVID has created all these different opportunities for people. So going after the tax exemptions is another good way to do it. So here's what I want to leave everyone with today. The choices you make today will directly impact your income 3 months from now. So 3 months from now, if you don't have any business, it's because you didn't do what you're supposed to do today. So the routines, the habits, the discipline, the consistency is something that's really important. And one of the things that we were kind of floating around, and I will let the chat box speak for itself, is do you guys want us to host some like accountability hours that maybe after one of these calls that somebody stayed on? It was just a Zoom screen with all of us on here that you could take 30 minutes to just actually physically make your calls. Would that be helpful for you guys if we did that 1 month? Hit yes if it's helpful for you. Corey says yes. We have 1 yes. And if not, keep making the calls, right? And if you want to do this, find a small group of people in here that want to do this and build relationships with other people, right? There should be, so we'll look at this chat for everyone that's on this group, and we'll connect you guys all via an email, and we'll put into our roadmap for April a time to host live sessions in place of role play. I think the role play is very important this month because we all have different scenarios that we're not used to hearing, and we want to make sure that we give you timely advice on answering people's concerns. So does anyone else have any questions or stuff? We have a quick minute before we go for the day.
Just a reminder that we are doing role play tomorrow. So if you have scenarios that you want to workshop that from your own business, please come with those scenarios, and we can we'll call on volunteers to workshop different things.
I'm still waiting for somebody to stump me. So bring me your craziest objections, and let's have some fun tomorrow as we do this. Fran, I don't know where you are, but those blue skies look really good. So thank you guys, and we appreciate you all for being present. Sarah, welcome to the group. Natalia, we love seeing you here every day. And thank you guys. Greg, I love you, brother. So I'll see you guys soon, and come tomorrow with your craziest objections, and I would love somebody to stump me. Have a great day, guys.